It's
Let's
now
ride.
time for the words that are recited before each and every game here at Dodger Stadium. Take it away, Finn.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
What's going on, Dodger fans? And thank you for listening to another episode of the Incline Dodgers podcast. We were not planning to record tonight, so this is a bonus episode. And the reason being is James Outman is him, leading the Dodgers to that 6-2 victory in the first game of this Cubs series. They still got 3 games left. Your Los Angeles Dodgers are 10-10, and we're brought to you by Fansided. Wow, a grand slam off Michael Fulmer in the 8th inning to put the Dodgers on top 6-2, and that was your ball game. We got a packed house tonight. David Rosenthal's in the building. Then we got friend of the show, Chris Camello. He's back as well. And then a one-time visitor. He's back. Long-time listener, Dodge 16_12, also known as Steve Moore, is here. We're going to break down the last couple games, maybe get into some questions if Steve or Chris or David's got anything they want to address as well. So let's get the show rolling. David, start with you. What are your thoughts on James Outman being him?
I mean, he does literally everything. He's a 5-tool player. He's performing at every level of the game, no matter where you hit him in the lineup, no matter where you put him in the field. He needs to be playing every day. I think Dave Roberts is going to wake up and start to realize that. But, I mean, talk about putting a team on your back. First off, hitting the home run to either tie the game or give them the lead. I think it was to tie it. And then throwing out a runner at home, saving Bickford and saving, I don't know who pitched before Bickford.
It was
Grove, saving Grove's ass.
Well, they got the one run, but yeah, he threw out the second runner to keep
it a tie game. And then obviously the grand slam. I mean, what has this kid not done since he's been called up going back to last year? I mean, it kind of pisses you off that he wasn't called up last year for the playoff run, but now that he's here, this is, in my opinion, this is absolutely not a fluke. I think this is just who he is. He's just a hitter.
Yeah, as we're recording, 290 hitter, 397 on base percentage, 1,042 OPS, 5 home runs, which is second on the team, 15 RBIs, 2 steals. And I actually tweeted that out, and I agree with David. He is a 5-tool player. He's displayed everything. I think that he could get more stolen bases if they encouraged him to. Chris Camello, how's it going?
Doing good, Kev. Thank you for not reneging on our little bet the other day and having me on, man.
What's shaking? What are your thoughts on the Dodgers through 20 games? Any questions or any thoughts you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah, actually, what we need to do, since the I am him or James Outman is him, and about 48 hours earlier, Austin Reeves apparently of the Lakers was him. We need to do a episode of To Tell the Truth. And will the person who is him please stand up with John O'Hurley as the host? I know you guys remember that show on KCAL. But yeah, going back to Outman, superb performance tonight. It's a crazy time in sports. You got the NHL playoffs, you got the NBA playoffs, you got a lot of LA teams in the mix. So I was trying to go back and forth and see who was doing what. But this kid just has got a classic swing. By the way, here's a fun fact. 5th Dodger already this season to have a multi-home run game, joining JD Martinez, Freddie Freeman, Trace Thompson, Max Muncy's done it twice. So yeah, he's been fantastic and getting it done defensively. And what's also a little ironic too, Kev, and the rest of you guys, by the way, very, very nice to see you again, Dave. It's been a while. And nice to meet you too, sir. But the other thing is he's doing this next to Cody Bellinger. So he's basically the heir to the throne. I mean, we thought Bellinger was going to be a Dodger for the next decade, and we were going to be seeing him make the highlight plays in center field and hit the clutch home runs. And it just didn't pan out that way. But James Outman right now is falling in line of that great Dodger rookie lineage of guys that just come onto the scene and make an immediate impact. And it's really a pick-me-up for a team that's really sputtered out of the gate, playing average baseball, struggles with the bullpen, struggles a little bit with the starting. The offense is boom or bust, but he stepped up tonight. And by the way, another shout out to Uncle Jay Hay. That walk, great at bat against Fulmer, set up the James Outman grand slam in the 9th inning. So big win. They needed it, but still long ways to go. Not just with the Dodgers, but anybody in the NL West.
That's absolutely true. Maybe we'll talk about another team, what happened with them later tonight as well, if we can get into it. But fun fact, Cody Bellinger hit a home run against the Dodgers, went 420 feet in the 2nd inning. Followed that up, James Outman hit his home run 420 feet in the 3rd inning, both occurring on 420. What are the odds? Cody Bellinger with the stoner reputation. I don't know about James Outman. He kind of looks like a clean man. I don't know if he dabbles in that stuff.
90s movie star.
Yeah. But Steve, you're here. I got to get you in on the show. What are your thoughts on everything going on? And if there's anything you want to cover, ask us. Fire away.
I mean, what more can you say about James Outman? Like, he's been like, we got spoiled with Cody Bellinger's defense and offense for not the last 2 years of Cody Bellinger, but his previous years of offense and winning the MVP. Like, we got so spoiled with him, and now we got James Outman. It's like it's an embarrassment of riches in center field for the Dodgers. Like, and it has been so much fun to watch. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. How about this Dodgers bullpen tonight? Michael Grove had to exit after the 3rd inning after giving up 2 runs. One of them was an inherited run that Bickford gave up that was mentioned earlier. But Bickford gave the Dodgers 2 solid innings. Brule has looked really good so far. He had 2 strikeouts over a scoreless frame. Almonte started to bounce back. Ferguson continues to be their best left-handed reliever, in my opinion. And Bruce Gratterall continuing to rack up the strikeouts. Closed it out in that 6-2 win. Much needed performance by this Dodgers bullpen. Kind of helps set the rest of the series moving forward. So maybe some optimism in that department.
Yeah, I mean, the headline there is Gratterall getting the strikeouts. I mean, his last 3 outings, I think he's either struck out the side and then got 2 strikeouts and then got 2 strikeouts tonight. So if he's going to keep missing bats, there's your closer. No doubt about it. Undisputed closer. Yes, you'll throw in Phillips every now and again, but Phillips is best used in the Trinan role, in my opinion. 7th, 8th, fireman role. Throw him in whenever the heart of the order comes up. If Gratterall can keep missing bats, he has the potential to be a top 5 closer in baseball, without a doubt. He's always had the stuff. It's just been the strikeouts. And the last 3-4 outings, the strikeouts are there. So I don't know if that's something they've been working on, if something just clicked for him, if it's the teams they're playing, but this is by far the most encouraging thing we've seen out of the Dodgers bullpen all season long.
Couldn't agree more with Dave. One of the strengths of the Dodgers last year was 2 things. We're going to get to your bullpen offensively, and you're not going to touch our bullpen on the other side. So this year it's been sort of the exact opposite, where guys like Vesia, Almonte, Gratterall really just kind of sputtered out of the gate. There's been no real role. I would call it role definition like we saw last year. And I think now teams have more of a scouting report on some of these guys, and they've just struggled. I mean, Vesia has not had any clean outings. Almonte has struggled at times. Gratterall, I've been saying it for the last few years. This guy's got closer stuff, but he has not evolved as a reliever. Where's the swing and miss stuff? Where is that secondary pitch to go along with that big fastball? I mean, yeah, you got to be the bazooka, but you also got to know how to get outs as well. And they've let a lot of close games, guys, get away in the later innings. And even when the Dodgers have had like a 4 or 5 run lead, you get edgy because they're walking guys, they're giving up base hits. And then all of a sudden, you start biting your nails. It's like, are these guys going to choke up a 4 or 5 run lead with 4 outs to get? So it's been a real struggle for them. But on a night like tonight, 6 shutout innings against a pretty good Cubs team. And the Cubs were hot going into, I think they were coming off of a sweep or a series win against the Oakland A's. So they were coming off a big series win last weekend against the Dodgers. So this was big, and hopefully they could build on this. That's been the biggest issue too. They have not been able to build on any of these like really good wins. The David Peralta walk-off on Saturday night, the 2-run double. What do they follow that up with? 2 disappointing losses back-to-back. So they have got to try to get some momentum going. And I understand it's early, but you don't want to, keep giving away series and not have any sort of cohesion or continuity going right now.
Totally. Another thing that was interesting in Thursday night's action was we got to see the debut of Mookie Betts playing shortstop for the Dodgers. And they're going to definitely need his assistance right now with Yanni Hernandez getting literally a cup of coffee and getting sent back down. Luke Williams not really going to provide much, it appears, with the bat or the glove. And Mookie Betts, in what was, I think, the first ball hit to him, turned in a routine unassisted double play and looked better than Trey Turner all of last year, in my opinion. So if the Dodgers have to make Mookie Betts their shortstop, this actually could work out in their favor in the short term. Now you're guaranteeing James Outman every day at bats, and then you just kind of figure it out with the rest of the guys. Trace Thompson's reverse split, so maybe he gets more starts against right-handed pitching, and then David Peralta can close it out there in left field.
It's crazy that this is their best option at shortstop. Like, it's legitimately their best option. You got a $240 million payroll or something?
Mm-hmm.
And we're on April 20th, and your right fielder is your best option at shortstop. I don't know what the hell happened to all of these guys, but without a doubt, you kind of got to put him there. Like you just said, you got to get Outman every day at bats, and then you throw in Thompson, Hayward, Peralta, and Chris Taylor if he's going to avoid an IL stint. In the outfield. It makes way more sense than Luke Williams every day. And who else is left? Nobody.
Yeah. And with Austin Barnes being the worst version of Austin Barnes I've ever said, and that's coming from maybe one of his biggest fans. He's got like a -50 weighted runs created. I don't think I've ever seen that from any hitter on the Dodgers ever. And I think
any hitter ever. I thought Miguel Rojas's -5 was bad.
And he is statistically the worst hitter in the entire sport with an 040 batting average, if it's even that high at this point.
Yeah, it's really sad because I really like the Miguel Rojas pickup. And guys, he had a good spring. It wasn't like the writing was on the wall where it was like, oh my gosh, Miguel Rojas at shortstop. I mean, look at that. He had a good spring, and there were plenty of times last year in Miami. I would look at his stat line, 2 for 4, maybe not a whole lot of production like with home runs or RBIs or anything like that, but like 2 for 4 with like a single and a double or something like that. And I think we all kind of thought he was going to bring that sort of stability, even with a healthy Gavin Lux. There was a faction of fans like me saying, keep Lux at second and start Miguel Rojas at short because he's got the range, he's got the glove, he's got the arm, he's got the experience. So just, kind of keep him there and let Lux, stay over there at second base. But yeah, it's just been really a tough start. But I'm not ready to throw these guys in the trash can yet because what are your options? You have to kind of let these guys figure it out, whether you're talking Dodger relievers, Dodger starters, or even guys that your position players like Taylor or Rojas or even like a Yanni Hernandez or somebody like that. They have to just work their way through whatever offensive issues that they have.
Well, your guy Jose Iglesias might be wearing a Dodgers uniform tomorrow because he just re-entered himself in the free agent market.
It's not a bad option. Once again, you got a guy with experience. He can hit. He can field the position. You just need somebody just to kind of keep that seat warm for you. It's basically saying, hey, I got to use the bathroom. Keep my chair warm for me when I come back. Because let's be honest, guys, the Tim Anderson rumors and everything, that's not realistic right now in April. So people, and this is another thing. Ohtani. This is why you can't gun for a guy who may not fill the needs of your team. I believe me, I'm on Team Ohtani as well. I'm not trying to say anything, but at the same point in time, this is a good question for this panel right now. Is Ohtani worth basically just rolling out the red carpet for without addressing some of the other needs of the team now and into the future?
Kinda. I said it before the season started, and I'm standing by it, especially with Jeff Passan's latest report. If the Angels fall out of it, Shohei Ohtani will be traded to the Dodgers around the trade deadline.
Go ahead, Steve.
I just don't think that the price tag is going to be worth it with no guarantee that he's going to be a Dodger. If they're asking for 2 top prospects, you're giving up what the pitcher? Sorry, I went blank on his name.
Miller or
Bobby
Stone,
Miller.
Bobby
Yeah,
Miller.
you're giving up Bobby Miller and Diego Cartaya for no guarantee that you're going to have a guy for more than 90 games. Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, I just think that's essentially career suicide for the GMs. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't happen. I know it doesn't happen, but if you can get a window where you can give an extension and he agrees to it, then yeah, I'm all for it. But that doesn't happen in July.
I'm all
and I
in.
just don't want to. I don't want to give up the farm for a player that we're not guaranteeing that we're going to have more than half a season.
Not to mention, you don't have any of the other guys that are going to be approaching free agency guaranteed either. There's no contract for Urias. There's no contract for Bueller. There's no extension for Will Smith. So you're going to put all your eggs in the Ohtani basket. What's going to happen with those other guys?
I think the Dodgers farm system is deep enough that they can do what they did 2 years ago when they traded for Max Scherzer and gave up Josiah Gray and Keibert Ruiz, who both have not looked that great so far as big leaguers. Yes, Cartaya probably will amount to being a better player, but now if we really want to go down the Will Smith train, a lot of Dodger fans are going to be perfectly happy locking him up for life. And you have a shot to win the World Series in 2023, and sometimes you just got to take shots. Yeah, they won't always pan out, but this is a generational player, and if you get him ingrained in the Dodgers clubhouse, he's part of the culture. I guarantee he's going to love being a Dodger, and that's going to be a huge leg up in these extensions and negotiations versus free agency pool.
So go ahead, Steve.
Sorry, you're looking at a pitcher and a DH that still doesn't address the shortstop role that we don't have. There's
Thank you, Steve.
Shortstop. Ohtani doesn't play shortstop.
I can live with whoever plays shortstop when you get Ohtani's bat in the lineup, though.
The problem it creates is, I mean, it's like the best possible problem to have. My only issue is if you trade for him, I kind of need to have some kind of a handshake that like we're going to get an extension done. Whatever the cost is, if he commits to being in LA where he's already familiar with just down the freeway, then I'm comfortable giving up whatever it takes to get that guy. In terms of the 2023 makeup, you'll figure it out. JD Martinez, you might have to play left field. Welcome to the outfield. If not, you're on the bench. But this is not going to be a move just for this year. If they acquire him at the deadline, this is a franchise altering move where you're going to commit to give the guy close to $500 million. And you're not going to give up Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, Cartaya, anybody if you're not pretty damn confident, if not sure, that you're going to sign him to an extension. You're just not.
It's a hard call. It's a hard call. And, all these rumors about Tim Anderson, who is a fantastic player, an all-star caliber player, Chicago may end up falling out and they may end up wanting to sell so that they can get some, good prospects and get a haul for him. Now, if the Dodgers are in those sweepstakes, that obviously affects them in the trade aspect of getting Ohtani. And then they would basically have to take their chances in free agency next winter, right? That would take them out of the trade sweepstakes. And what would that asking price? I'm just curious. If the Dodgers were to go after Tim Anderson, what is that price looking like? Is that looking like Cartaya or Stone or Cartaya or Miller?
No,
okay,
no way. You look at the second tier. So we're talking maybe Andy Pages. I think he's an easy guy to make this trade happen. Starting pitcher wise,
well,
Maddox Bruns is
maybe Landon Knack.
He's got a pretty low stock right now.
It's not going to move the needle too much. But the thing is, Tim Anderson's not a unrestricted free agent next year. They got a club option on him for $14 million, which is cheap for him.
Right, so but that means though that the asking price would still be somewhat higher though because he's not exactly a true rental, right, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Pages, maybe Bruns. If they have to do Nastrini, pains me to say it, or the other guys like River Ryan, who's been tearing it up. Matt Yes, they got what a fleece right there.
So bad.
This is my last thought on James Outman because I want to say it before I forget, and then we'll talk about a couple other things to close out the show. I've been talking about this guy for like years now, and if there was one Dodgers rookie prospect hitter that I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, I think James Outman's going to be the best of all of them. So that includes Vargas, Cartaya, I guess Dalton Rushing you can throw in there, Pages, Eddie's Leonard. Yeah, you go down the line.
Bush.
Oh yeah, Bush as well. I want to see Bush in the major league level. Like, what the hell are we waiting for?
He should have been a shortstop growing up. He'd be playing right now.
Yep.
But I got one question. So Mookie Betts is back from pregnancy. And what do you do with James Outman in the lineup? Where are you putting him? I liked him at leadoff today. Obviously, Mookie Betts is going to be your leadoff hitter, but I wouldn't mind putting Outman second.
Yeah.
And moving Freeman down one and Smith down one.
Freddie killed it in the 3 spot last year. When they put Trey Turner between him and Mookie Betts, the offense clicked. And I think they need to do something like that similarly, where you basically go, I agree with you, Dave, 100%. Mookie, Outman, Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Muncy cleanup. Okay, then Smith 5th. JD 6th. That's solid.
No,
right
they'd
there.
put Smith 4th because they want to stagger the lefties.
Well, Smith or Muncy, I'm just saying, I don't think you could really go wrong with either of them in those spots because whoever's in the 5th spot would be solid. And then you have JD in the 6th. That's still pretty good.
Makes the lineup a lot longer.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something on my mind. It's time for James Outman to be batting first or second.
Agreed.
It just works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you need to get him at bats.
Go ahead.
When they traded for Mookie in 2020, they had him batting 3rd or 4th the first couple of games in the 2020 season. And the offense wasn't doing anything. The team was sputtering. When they put him at leadoff after he said something about wanting to bat leadoff, the team took off, and we know they won the World Series. So I would keep him at 1 and put Outman at 2 because it just seems that Mookie is probably, if not the best leadoff hitter, he's one of the best leadoff hitters in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
I think you kind of at this point need to consider moving Outman into the 2 spot.
Definitely.
It also helps give Freddie Freeman more opportunities to just drive in runs because I feel like his bat's been kind of wasted hitting second. If the 8 or 9 holes aren't getting on, we're just banking on Mookie, and that's not really efficient.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So Wednesday afternoon, after we talked about him and I went on a whole rant about how Max Scherzer is an asshole. Well, what do you know? Max Scherzer is still an asshole because he got tossed. Well, first in the, I want to say 3rd inning, they inspected his glove, said, "You got to change it, bro." He accommodated that request, did it. Then the next inning, he was ejected for having too much sticky stuff. We don't exactly know what the substance was. He claims it was water and rosin. They're saying that when the umpires were touching his hand, it was literally sticking to his hand. And someone posted, I don't know the credibility, but his spin rate was apparently up like 400 metrics compared to what his season average was.
I don't know. I tend to side with Scherzer here, honestly. I mean, he was kind of very insistent that it was rosin. I kind of believe him. Apparently, he tried to wash it off with alcohol in between innings. And then I forget what former pitcher was tweeting about this, but I guess if you do that, it makes it even worse and more sticky. So I kind of think he got screwed here a little bit. I mean, it was hilarious to see him throw a tirade and get ejected, but I think it was just rosin. I don't think he's
You're defending Scherzer a lot these days. What's going on?
I mean, I think he's innocent here.
Well, he got a 10-game suspension and didn't even appeal.
Did you guys see that? Whoever the umpire is, he's the only umpire that has thrown out anybody with the sticky stuff, and it's been 3 times now.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
It's only that single umpire that has done it.
He's a cop.
Not sure what's going on with the Mets. This is like the second incident going back to the Musgrove with the ear situation where they're somewhat involved in a situation with a pitcher and some sort of illegal substance. So I kind of side with Dave on this one. I think if this guy, maybe if it was the first time around, right? maybe he had something. Second time around, that's just plain stupidity. That's playing with fire. That's going back to rob the bank later that afternoon after robbing it at 9 a.m. That's just dumb right there, returning to the scene of the crime. But yeah, I mean, obviously Max Scherzer, Kev, clearly you have some sore feelings still about what happened in the 2021 NLCS about Atlanta against the Atlanta Braves. I get it, but I think in this case, this was just sort of an overblown situation, very random, and it couldn't have happened to a guy who has had a pretty clean record. There's been never any suspicions or anything like that. Not like what we've seen with guys like Garrett Cole or Trevor Bauer or who was the other one, Lucas Giolito. Guys like that who have been a little bit more like, hey, these are the guys to watch right here. Scherzer doesn't really have that track record as far as I know.
You got to put it into context because he was coming in the start after being pushed back. He was dealing with some shoulder soreness, I believe. It was also a day game, which makes it probably harder for a pitcher dealing with an injury in the heat. I feel like based off how cocky Max Scherzer's been in the past, where he thinks he's kind of just better than everyone else, he thought, no way in hell are they going to expect me 2 innings in a row.
I don't know.
Still playing with fire.
Yeah, I just don't think he's that stupid.
Admittedly so.
He even said that much too. He said I'd be an idiot after they inspected me to come out with something else on me.
Yeah, and he was like swearing on his kid's life that it was rosin too to the umpire, which is kind of extreme. But like, I'm with Scherzer here.
But the point is, you think he was pitching clean the entire game, or do you think at one point in the game he was trying to get a leg
I think
up?
it was always rosin. I think it might have been over what they allowed, but we don't even know what they allow. They don't tell us what the standard is. So like,
we just know spider tack is not allowed. That's the only thing I think that's what started this whole thing back in the 21 season. Anyway,
you're not allowed to use rosin.
You can use rosin.
I don't know. It says 10-game suspension for rosin use. So I don't know what
it's
that
like
means.
A certain level.
Well, I guess.
And they fined him what, $10,000 for just acting like a total jerk.
Yep.
He's not worried about the $10,000 to say that much.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'll Venmo that to you later on that day, bro.
Yeah.
He sat out the NLCS game to make 99 million or whatever. So he's chilling.
Well, 99 million problems, but I guess cash won't be 10 G's won't be one of them for Scherzer, man.
While I have you guys here, were there any other questions you had for us or topics you wanted to throw out there before we close out this James Outman is Him bonus episode show? The silence.
Sounds of silence over here. No, I guess I have a question. What is going on with what is going on with the San Diego Padres? I know they've won a couple of games now in a row. They just got Tatis back, reinserted. I mean, everyone keeps saying, wait till Tatis gets it back. But why are you still getting shut out as many games as you have? I mean, they fell 3 below 500. Who the hell thought that team was going to fall 3 below 500 even this early in the season? I don't think anybody had that going. So what are your thoughts on the Padres? Are them and the Dodgers, do they have like mass concerns that could, follow them throughout the season?
Way too early. A lot of World Series winning teams or teams that just reach the World Series have bad Aprils. It's essentially an extension of spring training. We'll see where they're at in June. I mean, they're 10-11. Like they could go on a 5 winning streak instantly, and all of a sudden their season looks hot. But yeah, you mentioned it, and Fernando Tatis Jr. did return tonight. He went 0 for 5, got a standing boo ovation from the Arizona Diamondbacks fans, so that's nice. It'll be interesting to see what kind of catalyst he is to this Padres lineup. But Chris, I think you were the one that said don't draft Xander Bogaerts in fantasy, and so far he's been their best hitter.
Hey, I could be wrong, man. I mean, you look at he had a good batting average last year, but the production numbers were just not there. And I was like, 11-year deal, $280 million. I don't know. But then again, fresh start, exciting team, put him in between Machado and Soto. All of a sudden, you're good. Not to mention, sometimes hitters don't transition well switching leagues. I mean, we saw Machado struggle back in 2018 when he came over from Baltimore to the Dodgers. He still hit around 300, but he wasn't playing at the MVP level that he was in Baltimore. So I kind of expected Bogaerts to have that initial first month, maybe jitters, getting familiar with more of the National League pitchers. But hey, good for him. Good on him.
I think they're a sleeping dragon, frankly. I mean, you're getting a top 5 player in baseball, in my opinion, back today. Soto's hitting like 100, which is not going to keep up. And you're going to get Joe Musgrove back as well. So I think it's only a matter of time for them. I picked him to win the division preseason, and I still think that happens.
Not to mention you got Machado hitting 220, right? And he's not going to do that either.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lastly, Madison Bumgarner was designated for assignment by the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think he's the worst contract since the start of 2020. ERAs in the 5s every season. I think this season he has an ERA over 10.
He does.
It's hilarious that they owe him $34 million still. And they said, you know what, Mad Bum, you suck so much ass. We're better off just paying you to pitch probably for the Texas Rangers. Someone pointed that out to me that he's going to probably reunite with Bruce Bochy.
That makes sense. Yeah. And he's close. I mean, he's from North Carolina, so going to Texas would make him a little bit closer to home. It makes sense at this point. Bochy knows how to use him, and they lost Odorizzi for the season, so they could use somebody to kind of plug that hole in the pitching staff. And
Well, he can pitch all the games that DeGrom gets hurt in. He can
or
just be
Eovaldi.
DeGrom's backup essentially. No, I mean, he was bad before they signed him.
Mm-hmm.
That GM is I don't know what the hell he's looking at. But every metric you looked at before they signed him told him that he was falling off a cliff or had fallen off the cliff already. So you get what you pay for, and that's what you get. So $34 million into the trash.
everything you need to know about him is I used to live in the Bay Area, so I know a lot of my friends are Giants fans, and they don't even want him back. And he's like this San Francisco legend. Like I text one of my best friends that he's a hardcore Giants fan. I was like, you guys want Mad Bum back? He's like, he didn't even know he got DFA'd. He's like, no, I don't want that guy back.
No, he's
Epic.
cooked. I think it might be over for him, honestly.
Yeah, it very well could be. I think maybe a team like Texas takes a flyer on him just to see what he's got. I mean, $720,000. You know, you might as well just see, hey, let's take a flyer and just see what he's got left. But yeah, I don't see a team like the Dodgers or any of these other squads really going out of their way to sign him at this point. He just has not looked good, and the consistency isn't there. We're not talking about like, hey, he gets shelled every now and then. No, it's like he gets shelled, if he's making 4 starts a month, he's getting shelled in like 3 of them.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, guys? No.
Outman needs to play every day. That's it.
James Outman is the first Dodgers rookie to hit a go-ahead grand slam in the 9th inning or later since Andrew Toles did it back on August 31st, 2016.
There's a name.
Yeah. And also too, I do have one final thought. I think Tony, the return of Tony Gonsolin, Pepio, and more importantly, Daniel Hudson is really going to provide a lot more stability to this pitching staff and make it a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. And now you won't be relying on certain guys in certain key positions. I think it'll allow a little bit more flexibility once those guys return to the rotation and the bullpen respectively.
Tony Gonsolin in his rehab outing, 3 innings, 2 runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 57 pitches, 35 of them being strikes. So with Michael Grove going down, they probably will have to do a bullpen game, I imagine, with Grove's next spot up in the rotation. I would guess Andre Jackson might have to be that guy because we went through the lineup like a week ago with whoever the other Dodgers AAA options were, and you're better off not going with any of those guys.
Yeah.
Gavin Stone has a 7 ERA right now. I don't know what happened there after dominating all of spring. So I'm hoping he can get sound because I was banking on him to be not even a midseason call-up, like a third season call-up.
Yeah, it makes sense to just go with a bullpen game if Gonsolin's going to be ready on the next turn.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me and doing this bonus episode where we talked about James Outman. Also, special shout out real quick to TickPick for sponsoring the Incline Dodgers podcast. This is the time right now to go see all the Los Angeles teams in the playoffs, such as the Lakers, Clippers, LA Kings. And of course, this is the best shop to go get your Dodgers tickets and see concerts as well. Just download the TickPick app. No service fees at checkout. All right, guys. Well, until next time, thank you all. Steve, Chris, David, let's go Dodgers.